some kind of brain-machine interface that can give you cybernetic superpowers, I think is probably good. It could, help people that have brain or spine injuries. Enable people who've never spoken for years to speak again, which we've done. Give people eyesight who have lost both eyes or the optic nerve, or maybe have never even seen at all, blind from birth, by direct interface to the optical centers in the brain. You can actually restore eyesight, or give people eyesight that they've never had before, and you can enable people to walk again, which I think is profound. I mean, these are kind of Jesus level things, like let's say, like when technologies are hitting like Jesus level miracles, like.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all glory and honors unto Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua, by Shem Ruach. Double honor to the elder apostles, the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the 144,000, as well as to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. This is your brother, Josiah Warren from G-Miss Atlanta, back with another edifying video. And we have been saying that the miracles of the beast is Esau's technology. The miracles that in the last days, the beast, the system of Esau, which is represented as the great red dragon or the beast, is going to introduce miracles in the earth that the world will wonder at. And that is pursuant to Revelation, the 13th chapter. But these miracles, they're dealing with Esau's technology and his advancements to make it appear as if he is God. So this here's an article, and it says, Musk calls brain chips Jesus-level tech as Neuralink breakthroughs advance. So let me get the scripture and make my point. Let me get Revelation chapter 13. And 11, the beast from the earth. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This beast is a government, all right, which is the government of Esau, who rose up out of the earth during the time of the Renaissance, going back 600 years. And they have horns like a lamb, meaning they tell you that they come in peace, such as democracy, being for humanity. But then it says he spake as a dragon, meaning they're going to bring about harsh laws, austerity measures, draconian laws, and they're going to be intense in the execution of that so-called peace. And that is what we have seen the so-called white men do throughout the last few hundred years, colonizing and conquering the earth. He says that he's like a lamb and he's peaceful, but then you see how he acts as a dragon with war and taking over people in their countries and resources. It's also represented by NATO, which is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is the revival of the Roman Empire. It's also known as the fourth kingdom or the fourth beast in prophecy, Bible prophecy. And we're seeing that play out today. So this beast is already in the earth. This is already happening. Verse 12, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him. Yeah, this is the revival of the Roman Empire. And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. This is why everybody is under the influence of these so-called white people, which go back to Rome, which the Roman Empire was set up by Esau, also known as the Edomites in the Bible. Okay, that's their people, those that go back to Esau. Although you do have the nations mixed amongst each other. We identify the Edomites today. And just as they ruled in the Roman Empire in the past, they're ruling this new empire today out of Europe and America. It says, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Because Rome was renaissanced. Renaissance means rebirth. It was the rebirth of the Roman Empire out of Europe, because that's where the Roman Empire was in the past. And now we have the Western hegemony, Europe, the UK, the EU, the European Union, America, which is the US, and NATO. So it was healed. They came back into power. The white man came back into power on the earth. Okay? It says in verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven. That's his weaponry, his bombs. Okay? No other empire has done that in history until it was done by the so-called white man and his people in this current world rulership. So that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. It says, here's the point, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth. So, and all the earth is deceived into believing, believing in these people, these devils. But now the world is waking up to them. It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. The image is not a picture, it's not a painting, it's not Jesus Christ or Cesare Borgia or the Roman Vatican Church, none of that. It's talking about a system. An image is a way of life, a system that's put in place that the world will follow. It says, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And everybody's following after the image and the influence of the Roman Empire and this new revived modern Roman Empire. And so those miracles that they have the power to do is the power to innovate and create technology that is more advanced than any other empire has done before. Now, who also did miracles when you read the scriptures? Okay? I'm just setting the premise of this lesson. So this is John 2:11. It says, the beginning of miracles did Yahushua, the true name of the Son of the Most High is Yahushua, which means he is a deliverer. He is a savior, which is a Hebrew. The beginning of miracles did Yahushua in Cana of Galilee and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. So the miracles that we're seeing that these Edomites are able to do through their technology is to counteract the miracles of the Lord. But their miracles are carnal. So it says, must cause brain chips, Jesus level tech as Neuralink breakthroughs advance. So this is dealing with the mark, the MOTB, the mark of the beast, also in Revelation, the 13th chapter. So this is what is being pushed now. It says, speaking at an international summit in Tel Aviv, tech billionaire Elon Musk made a striking claim about one of his most ambitious and perhaps controversial ventures. He described the work of his brain chip company as approaching what he called Jesus-level technology, because this man, they want to be like God. Okay? They have a God complex, and they're using these different techs and technologies and different means to achieve that. It says the remarks delivered at the Samson International Smart Mobility Summit, it would be called Samson, immediately drew global attention. Musk was referring to Neuralink, his company developing brain-computer interfaces, BCIs. The technology aims to connect the human brain directly to digital systems. Okay? And this is from X or Twitter. This is an official post. Elon Musk says humans will soon have cybernetic implants that will enable godlike powers, describing the chips as creating Jesus-level miracles. Okay? So they want to create these miracles to counteract the Lord, to be like the God. Right? Let me get Isaiah the 14th chapter. And this is the book Isaiah chapter 14. Let's see if this is the right. Yeah, Isaiah 14 and 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, this is speaking about these devils, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I was sent upon the mount of the congregation and the sides of the north, and they are ruling right now over the earth, over the people, and especially over the Israelites. So they want to be like God. Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. So that's what they want to do. They want to create the miracles that the Lord was able to do, but they want to do it through their carnal means, which that would tell them, if they're able to achieve it, then that they are God and that they don't need the Most High. Right? Verse 15, but this is the judgment. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit, meaning they are going to be destroyed, not going to a hell, burn forever. That doesn't exist. Spirits and energy doesn't die. Okay? You can't destroy a spirit, but you can take this spirit and put it in a body, and you can have that person go into captivity, which is what is going to happen. But the point is that they want to be like God. So they want to create this technology to produce these miracles. And this is lining up with the Bible prophecy and the scriptures. Okay? Now let's go back and let's get Revelation 13. Right? Verse 15, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. That's why we're seeing the digital ID system, biometrics, digital currency being pushed in the earth right now. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, right, is manifesting now, it's coming to pass, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And eventually, if you don't comply with this new world digital system, then they're going to do just that. Right? Verse 16 is the point. This is why we here at Great Millstone, GMS, we've been warning you Israelites, those of you different groups, those of you in those different groups and those out there about what the mark of the beast is. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. So it will soon be mandatory. But the technology exists right now. But soon they're going to cause people to take it, just as they cause people to take the vaccine shot back in the past, a few years ago. It says, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Where's your forehead? What's behind your forehead? Your brain. And I've gone over this numerous amount of times. It's dealing with your brain, your frontal cortex, your motor cortex, your frontal lobe. That's where they put the implant interacts with the brain. It says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you're going to have this particular mark, which is this Neuralink implant, in the future. It says, according to Musk, Neuralink has already enabled patients who lost brain-body function to communicate again. So this is them in their pride of their power. He suggested that restoring mobility could be next. In clinical trials, the company has implanted devices in more than 20 patients with paralysis. These individuals can now control computers, phones, and even robotic systems using only their thoughts. So you can read this. It says, Meanwhile, the broader brain-computer interface industry is expanding rapidly. Yeah, because the prophecy of the mark has to come to pass. More than 130 startups have entered the space in recent years. It says it's worth noting that brain-computer interfaces themselves are not new. The concept dates back to the 1970s. That's right when this truth started to be pushed, late 60s into the 70s, though progress remained largely confined to research labs for decades. I'm just going through here. What has changed is the push toward mass adoption. Right, they have to cost all to get the MOTB. Companies are now openly discussing large-scale production and mainstream use. Neuralink, for example, has indicated plans to begin high-volume production as early as 2026. That's this year. We're in that time now. That timeline suggests a dramatic acceleration. So as we've been saying, this MOTB could come, the mark could come within months, man. Okay? So it's just a matter of time before they push this tech. I went over how they want to be like God. They want to push these miracles, which is prophecy, man. So continue to watch, continue to pray, continue to push, continue to persevere. Peace to all your brothers and sisters out there of the hopeful elect. I'll end it here. Our praises goes into Yahweh Basham Yahushua by Hashem Chakwadash. Shalom.